Hello everybody, today we're doing one of the most requested videos we've had on the channel, which is to talk about the starter Pokemon and specifically how good they are competitively and how I, as the world champion and competitive player, would use them competitively. I do want to say, of course, that I've avoided putting spoilers in the thumbnail for this, but there will be spoilers in the video, so if you don't want to watch spoilers, go ahead and click off. I'm going to be going through kind of the Pokemon and what I would expect from them and kind of their viable moves and how I think they'd be used. Of course, it is a little bit tricky because we don't know like how these Pokemon would translate exactly into a more traditional Pokemon style game like Sword and Shield, but we'll do our best and we'll give it a shot, and I can make guesses as well, educated guesses. So, and we don't need the exact moves and everything to know a rough case, right? So yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll start with Decidueye. I think Decidueye is probably the worst of the three starters. We're going to be switching between Cerebi and Showdown here because I'm not confident that the stats are correct here. So yeah, it looks like the stats are different. So Showdown has the updated stats, so that's good. So the first thing we want to do whenever we look at a new Pokemon is talk about their stats, because the stats really determine at the end of the day how a Pokemon can be used and how good a Pokemon will be. So when we look at Decidueye, we see a couple things about it. It has pretty good base HP, 163 stat, 88 base is pretty good. I think that this is correct. When we see its attack stat, 112, pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it's not awful. Base 80 defense is okay. Base 95 special attack is okay. Like, it's probably not a special attacker most of the time. 95 special defense is okay, and then speed 60 is pretty slow. So overall, if we were to look at this Pokemon, I would say that it probably does well when it does a lot of things average / below average, but the real thing is that with such a low base speed stat, it really will struggle because it's not going to be moving first a lot of the time. That's just how the speed stat works. Additionally, it doesn't have any outstanding stats. There's a lot of okay, medium, middle of the pack stats, but the issue with the Decidueye is that its typing isn't very good. So Grass and Fighting is not a unique typing. Breloom has it, Virizion has it, but the issue with the typing is that not only do you have a 4x weakness in Flying, you also have weaknesses to Psychic, Ice, Fire, Fairy. There might even be more that I'm forgetting about. And so you have a fair number of weaknesses, and you don't have that many resistances as well. I mean, the Rock and Ground resistances are nice for sure. And the Grass resistance is okay, the Electric resistance is okay, but it doesn't make up for the numerous weaknesses you have. So any Pokemon with a 4x weakness can be hard to use, and being weak to types like Fire, Ice, Flying, Fairy, these are all pretty common offensive types. So basically, of the three starters, I think Decidueye is the worst. Its ability also isn't very good. So Long Reach basically allows you to ignore contact abilities. So what that means is you won't proc Flame Body, you won't proc Iron Barbs, Ferrothorn, stuff like that. But those are pretty rare occurrences, to be honest. I mean, they definitely come in handy sometimes, but yeah, it's not so common that you want to dedicate your whole ability to it. Now let's look at some of the moves that it gets. So this is the base level up. I don't know if it'll still have Spirit Shackle. These actually aren't interesting. Okay, maybe I'm on the wrong page. Let me see. Am I missing something? Okay, it doesn't actually seem like the moves are here on Cerebi. So I guess the big thing is I don't think triple arrows aren't Showdown either. So triple arrows aren't on Showdown either, but I guess we can just kind of make some inferences here in terms of the moves. I do apologize for that. I thought that Cerebi, for some Pokemon, Cerebi has the moves. I might just be missing it. I the other day I made a video about the new moves in Legends Arceus, and one of the moves is a move that heals you 50%, and it was on the screen, and all the comments were like, "Wolf, it's 50%, you didn't see it." But yeah, anyway. So okay, we don't know exactly about the moves, but we can make some inferences, right? So for a moveset, we can probably assume it is something like Protect, maybe Close Combat, or a different fighting move. Triple Arrows can also go here. I think it's called Triple Arrows. Not a move. Okay, whatever. Triple Axle, you know what I mean. Leaf Blade, and then some kind of priority move is probably going to be your best bet here, or Swords Dance is another option. So you can run Swords Dance here. I think priority is probably going to be your best bet. So, I mean, the original one, you run Shadow Sneak, maybe you get Mach Punch. Something like this, prevent Triple Axles, Triple Arrows, let's just use Close Combat because it's clearer, right? And then you'd probably run something like this, like Max HP, Max Attack, and then 4 Special Defense, right? But the thing is that, as you can see, the attack stat isn't high enough. It's not like it's a crazy high attack stat. It doesn't have great bulk. You could maybe give it an Assault Vest and run I don't know, coverage move here instead of Protect. But at the end of the day, it's just not doing that much. You know what I mean? Its stats don't really allow it to really shine. It's too slow to really make an it's too slow to be good out of Trick Room. It's too fast to be good in Trick Room. It doesn't have the damage output. It's a physical attacker, which is always bad because you're susceptible to Intimidate. And so, yeah, overall, I mean, this is probably your best bet to using a Pokemon like this, but it would be pretty difficult, in my opinion. The next Pokemon I want to talk about is Samurott, Hisuian form. So, Water and Dark is also not great typing, but it's not awful. It at least has a useful ability in Shell Armor. Granted, this isn't a good ability necessarily, but it is okay. If we look at the stats, let's see. So, we can just give this thing... Well, okay, let's pull it up here, actually, first. Oh, also, before we move on, first of all, thank you for watching the videos. I really do appreciate it. It's I feel really lucky and grateful that I can do Pokemon content full-time, and so I want you all to know I really do appreciate it, and you all watching the videos and enjoying the content and engaging in the comments. It means a lot to me, so I want to say thank you. I'd also like to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. A very small percentage of my viewers are subscribed, and I would really love to get the number up. On top of that, I'm really passionate about competitive Pokemon, and I really want to bring competitive Pokemon to as many people as possible. It's kind of crazy to me that we are getting close to half a million subscribers. We're within 50K at the time of posting this, so that's awesome. And I'm also going to do a 500,000 subscriber special, which is I'll be ranking every single type combination in the game that exists, in the Pokemon games that exist. So if you're interested in that, or you just want to support the channel, I really would appreciate you taking the second to either subscribe or at least check to make sure that you're subscribed. Now let's talk about Samurott. So again, the first thing we want to start with is the stats. It's actually a bit faster than Decidueye, even though it looks like it should be slower. 85 speed is still pretty slow, but if it had really good stats, then you could definitely justify using it. The 90 HP, 108 attack, 80 defense, 100 special attack, 65 special defense, 85 speed. Once again, the stats really just aren't there. It doesn't have a high enough offense compared to Decidueye. It's basically really similar to Decidueye instead of stats, right? Like 2 different HP stats, 4 different attack stats, same defense stats, special attack doesn't matter, and then 25 more speed and then 20 less special defense, right? So it's basically same issue as Decidueye with the stats, except it's slightly faster, which is slightly better. I think this Pokemon could be good under... Maybe... It'd be really hard to make this Pokemon good. It's just so slow. I guess the next thing we can talk about is the typing. It's not awful typing, but you are weak to Fighting, Electric, Grass, and Fairy, which is not ideal. And you don't have that many resistances. Ghost, Dark, Water, Ice. Is that it? It might be it. It's not that many resistances either. So what you end up with is a Pokemon where you like... It's just below average overall. Pokemon really to shine, they really want to have something good in order to be good, right? Like a Pokemon that's just average across the board is not going to be good most of the time. And for both Decidueye and Samurott, it's just not very good at the end of the day. Like it doesn't have anything that it does well, right? Like it doesn't have the offensive stats to justify its low speed stat. It doesn't have the fast enough speed stat to justify its low offensive stats. It doesn't have the bulk to justify either, right? It's just not very good. If you did want to use this, you'd probably run something like, I don't know, Waterfall or Liquidation. Liquidation, Aqua Jet, I think are always going to be in your set, and then a Dark type move. So Throat Chop, or if Ceaseless Edge remains around, that's an option, and then Protect. Very similar to Decidueye, you basically just want to use this thing as a, like, I guess, bulky attacker, so you can maybe give it like a Citrus Berry, kind of like a worse Primarina, like a way worse Primarina, I guess. Something like this is probably a decent EV spread for it, except that I'm going to click every button except the one that I want. Just do this old-fashioned way, and then 4 speed. This isn't the only option. It's just that, like, it's too slow to really... I mean, I guess in certain formats, maybe you can use Choice Scarf, but you can see, even with the boosting nature, it's not hitting a very high attack stat. 176 is, like, not very high. Sorry, I'm skipping this some. Yeah, at the end of the day, 176 isn't a very good attack stat. I mean, Pokemon, like... Oh, that's not the music. That's the... Guys, I thought the music was bad, but it's like a leaf blower outside. I apologize for that. But what I was saying is that, okay, you see, figure with max attack and an adamant nature, Samurott hits 176 stat, right? Which is the equivalent of Landorus with, 84 EVs. So, I mean, comparing the stats, you can basically get same HP stat, same attack stat, 10 higher defense, 15 higher special defense, and then 5 higher speed. This is with 172 EVs and no nature left over. You could literally do this with... This already has better stats than Samurott. And I know Landorus is one of the best Pokemon in the game, but think about it this way. Like, would you ever use Samurott, who has a worse ability, worse typing, such significantly worse stats, when you could have Landorus on your team? And this is actually, on a slight tangent, this is one of the issues with people who want a national dex, people who really feel like every Pokemon should be legal or in every game all the time. This is the issue with that, where no one can justify using Samurott when you have Landorus around, right? Nor, I mean, maybe in specific niche scenarios, maybe, you know, you really want Aqua Jet to activate Colossal or whatever, but in the overwhelming majority of situations, you wouldn't want to run something like Samurott when you could run Landorus, and that's actually why I really think that it's really good that in Sword and Shield they cut out a lot of the Pokemon, because it allows Pokemon that are at a lower power level to shine. Because really, nobody should say that you would ever want to use Samurott when you could just use Landorus, right? And you might think, okay, that's bad. Like, that's bad on the part of Pokemon. Like, every Pokemon should be good, but there's other issues with that at the end of the day. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that none of these Pokemon are good. I think they could be usable or, like, decent in the right conditions, and those conditions are not every Pokemon is legal, right? If, like, let's say pretend for a second that only we had a competitive format with only the Pokemon legal in Legends Arceus, maybe Samurott could actually be good. Maybe it's bulky for that format. You know, it's not bulky in a general case, but in that specific type of format, maybe it's usable. So, yeah, but I think just looking at the stats, I hope showing you Landorus. My point isn't to rag on the starters. My point is just like to show you that by comparison, they're so much worse than Pokemon that are really good, right? So that's all I meant by that. Last but not least, let's talk about Typhlosion. So Typhlosion is the only one with interesting typing. This is also not unique though. Can I type? Any typers in chat? It has a decent ability. I mean, Flash Fire at least gives you an immunity, which is nice. It also has access to Eruption. So of the 3 starters, I think Typhlosion is the best. You would probably want to use it something like this. I think Modest, Choice Scarf, and then let's say Shadow Ball or whatever, and then last move, I'm not sure what base Typhlosion gets. It might get Scorching Sands, so let's just... We're making up moves anyway, so we could say Scorching Sands, you could say Heat Wave, you could say Lava Plume, I don't know, something, maybe Will-O-Wisp, like, and we'd have to know, we don't know the actual moveset of it, so it'd be kind of hard to say, but something like this, right? So this looks pretty good. The only thing about this is that, so I actually think there is something unique about Typhlosion that it does different than other Pokemon. One thing you have to know about Typhlosion, though, is, like, let's compare the stats, right? So comparing it to Chandelure, 197 special attack, 188 special attack. You can basically have a very similar Pokemon here. Chandelure's a little bit frailer, but like in exchange you get a little bit more special attack, right? You get like or you could do slower with less speed. But you can see between these two Pokemon here. Chandelure's better special defense, worse HP, worse defense, and actually better defense, worse HP. Better special defense, better defense, slightly worse HP, and then better special attack and worse speed. So they're very, very similar. The interesting thing about Typhlosion, and the thing that makes it actually, like, usable, is that... So Typhlosion's actually been used in VGC before. It's not a great Pokemon, but you really can't underestimate the power of Eruption. Eruption, for those of you who don't know, is a 150 base power move. Well, it starts out as 150 base power, and then it follows a formula where the lower the HP gets, the weaker Eruption gets. So with 1 HP left, Eruption is 1 base power, it does nothing, basically. Typhlosion, before Hisuian form was revealed or released, has been used in VGC a couple times, and it has a niche because it is the fastest good special attacker user of Eruption. So let's start by special attack. The other option is Heatran, who's too slow. So it's Heatran, Groudon, Entei, Torkoal, and Typhlosion isn't even here. Okay, well, Typhlosion is base what? This one has a 119 special attack. Regular Typhlosion has 109 special attack. So it's stronger now as well. So when we look at Eruption, starting by special attack, it's the second strongest Eruption user, and it's way faster than Heatran. So what this allows you to do is, in certain formats, you can throw a Choice Scarf on this, and then you can click Eruption, and that's really good. It's a really powerful move, especially in the sun, right? Something like Torkoal or plus Typhlosion, or Ninetales Typhlosion, or Groudon Typhlosion. It's fast, it's strong, and if you're not prepared for it, it will just blow through your team, because it's just a lot of damage really quickly. One of the issues with with any Pokemon that holds Choice Scarf is that it is really susceptible to Fake Out. Fake Out obviously causes your Pokemon to flinch, and then they can't move for the turn, and with that, with that, I mean, it probably makes sense, like, that they're very susceptible because they can't protect themselves because they're holding the Choice Scarf. The advantage of Hisuian Typhlosion is that it's part Ghost type, and Ghost type Pokemon, obviously it's nice because it gets additional offensive coverage. You're able to use Ghost, which is a really good offensive type. The other advantage, of course, is that you're immune to Fake Out. You're immune to normal and fighting moves. So it gives you more opportunities to switch in. Typhlosion actually has 3 immunities thanks to Flash Fire, to Fire, Normal, and Fighting. And then on top of that, being immune to Fake Out specifically is a big deal. So I think it could actually be pretty decent in the right conditions, where give it a Choice Scarf or Trispecs if your team is the speed support or if the format's slow. and just like have it do tons and tons and tons of damage. I think is a good way of approaching it. Yeah, and so I think with that in mind, it's probably like this is probably the best set for it. It doesn't have the speed really to be justifying using anything other than a Choice Scarf. Like, I think the real niche of it is that Choice Scarf Eruption plus Fire type stab plus good special attack stat is actually pretty strong. And if you in certain metas, you can also run Timid. Like, obviously this isn't gonna outspeed a Lucky, but it would outspeed Zacian with Timid Nature, maybe with Modest. It's gonna be close. I'm not gonna do mental math. I don't feel like doing it, but. This, for example, would outspeed and KO both Zacian and Calyrex Shadow if it were legal in VGC 2022. So, it probably still wouldn't be good because of Regieleki, but at least it would have a niche. So, yeah. So that's kind of, I think, what I want to say about the starters. I don't think I have anything else super interesting to add here. Cerebi hasn't been super useful for this, unfortunately, though I do love Cerebi. No shade there. But yeah, basically, in terms of worst to best, I think Decidueye is the worst, and it's bad. Samurott's also bad, and then Typhlosion could be okay in the right situations. Overall, I'm a bit disappointed. I think that the starters, kind of all three of these, I like the designs, especially of Typhlosion and Samurott. I don't love... I think that they could have been a lot better, to be completely honest with you, but, you know, these were also... It's not, like, you know, Legends Arceus wasn't... I guess what I want to say is that I would rather have the Pokemon be this good, aka pretty bad overall, than have them be like Incineroar, which is a starter that's just broken, or Rillaboom, which is a starter that's just broken. So, actually, I take it back, I'm not complaining. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I'll see you tomorrow for another video, and, yeah, please consider subscribing, and let me know what you think of the starters down in the comments below, because I'm curious what the general consensus is. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow, goodbye.